Okay, Mark. I feel like I'm limp almost immediately.
Yeah, I have that effect on you.
Yeah, that's
Probably not a bad thing.
That's a great.
If it was the other way around.
Not, by the way, that's not a great opening line when you meet a lady. I feel like.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, well, maybe you're so
You're so blasé. You're just like, well, you just don't do it for me, love.
But that's not a great. Is that in the school?
You're playing hard to get.
Well,
you're playing soft to
get. It's a nasty idea, but treat them mean, keep them keen idea. You know? Yeah. Which we don't subscribe to. We subscribe to.
The idea that I gave anything that much thought would be a bit too. Yeah.
What's if you could give anybody, any young men out there, advice about the ladies? What would it be?
Just talk to them like normal people.
Okay.
Not like you talk to the boys.
Well, then they're not normal people.
No, there's a difference.
Don't talk to them
There's a difference, but just be normal.
Can I give you what I tell you?
That being said, one of my guys in my high school was quite a renowned ladies' man.
Ladies, man.
And he yeah.
Were you a bit of a ladies' man in your day?
No.
Were you not?
No, not really.
Yes.
I am married though, so
you got one.
I got one. That's all right.
My piece of advice to young men is a simple one.
Okay.
And it's shower.
Yeah, that's true. Be clean.
Be clean.
People like clean.
And do your washing. Make sure you're clean. Your clothes are washed.
Yeah.
And they don't smell and you don't smell.
That's
because
true.
when you're a young man, the amount of time you spend going, and just clothes that you've reworn thousands of times, and then you go around them and you're like, you might be around other filthy young men who don't give a fuck either and don't really smell it.
Yeah.
But when you're new into that environment, you're like, oh, damn, son.
Can I make a confession
What's
of
that?
one of my more despicable kind of moments in my life?
Love to hear it. I love where this is going.
I was a teacher in China in my 20s. Right? Used to have a few drinks.
Is this going to be incriminating? Are you going to have
No,
to be locked up?
not quite incriminating.
Put on a list
I used to have a few drinks and smoke some cigarettes and eat food that was very unhealthy for me. So I didn't have a great lifestyle. So I probably wasn't
similar to now.
Probably didn't smell that good, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Any odors that I was emitting were not pleasant
odors. I had a
odors.
stinky phase. Yeah.
So I distinctly remember I went to a boarding school, which I was kind of farmed out to teach at twice a week.
Yes.
So I went to this boarding school class, and in that class there was this one kid who all the other kids didn't like because he didn't like having a shower.
Yes, right.
Because those kids had to pay, I think, a little bit for hot water. Or you could just take a cold water shower.
Yeah.
And he was stingy, and he was just like, "Fuck it, I'm not having a shower."
That would be you.
So nobody wanted to sit next to this kid, right?
I understand.
I'm about to go teach this class, a good class.
Are you?
Is
this the twist where we find out you're the kid?
So before I went to the class, I was sitting there having a smoke, and I dropped a bomb. And I was like, holy...
When he says he dropped a bomb, he means a fart, by the way.
Right. I didn't actually go to communist China and drop a bomb. So
exactly.
I was like, when you have an adverse reaction to it yourself, it must be really bad. So I was just like, oh my God.
Put a pin in it for a second.
Okay.
When you do a real cranker of a fart, like a real lethal one, is there...
I'm pretty proud usually.
Are you pretty proud?
Yeah.
Do you like the smell of your own flavour? Do you sit there and go, whoa, that's
My favourite is seeing other people react to it. Something gratifying about that.
There is something gratifying about it, but there have been a couple of times in my life where I've been like,
yeah.
what have I been eating?
This was one of those moments.
Okay, yeah.
This was one of those oh my God, I can't let anyone else smell that.
Right, yeah,
They're going to judge me.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. I was teaching this class from about half an hour through this 45-minute class, and I feel my tummy just... And I was like, oh my God. I can feel this is coming.
Yeah,
and I got the kids doing some bookwork, and I just, as my tummy's rumbling, oh Jesus, I just go around the class and I start inspecting the work they're doing.
Did you go next to Stinky Boy?
I stood next to Stinky Boy, and I just let it go.
Why didn't you go into the hallway?
I didn't think of it. I never go to the hallway. It would have been weird.
Just been like,
so I just
excuse me for a moment,
Yeah,
class.
no.
Just been out there, and then you go, Principal Stevens, how are you?
I stood next to that stinky kid, and I just dropped it.
And then
I left and went back to the podium, and they all smelled it.
You're a terrible
They
man.
smelled it. They started blaming him.
Oh. And you didn't
He
go.
protested in his innocence, and they started punching him.
They started punching him.
Well, not like full on punching him, but
like,
exactly.
Stuff.
I started laying into him, and I just watched. Despicable human being.
You are a real prick.
That's just such a prick thing to do.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's bad. Sorry,
bro. That's not
so
rugby.
He was already having like.
He was already kind of under the pump for being. Yeah, he's already ostracized for being the stinky
and
kid.
you're like,
I'm gonna make this guy's life worse.
It was anti-bullying day on Friday, and you were like, "No, I'm pro-bullying today."
How can I make this kid suffer?
Yeah.
Sorry, stinky kid.
Do you reckon he's out there watching?
I don't think so.
No.
Doesn't have access to YouTube. I don't think so.
Oh my god! And but he got through that. Maybe he grew for the experience.
Maybe he decided, like, I can't keep doing this. I need to. If I stink that bad, I need to go have a shower.
Do you think
Pay the one
Do you think that was the tipping point for him? Maybe you helped him. Tell yourself that to get yourself.
It'll make me feel better.
Sleep at night.
I know I stink, but you might want to come a little bit closer just for the framing.
How far out of the frame am I?
No, there was some rugby on.
Oh yes, there was some rugby on, but I quite enjoyed your fart story.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some rugby on. Would you like to talk about it?
I would.
Because this is called Two Cents Gets Distracted.
It's a rugby podcast.
It's a rugby podcast.
If you've just skipped through to the rugby moment on the timestamp, you've missed a hell of a fart story.
You really have. I'd go back and listen to it if I was you. But this is the bit where we get to business. We really get into it. We get into the nuts and bolts.
Exactly.
We talk hard stats. We don't get distracted.
So,
despite the name, and we just stay on point, and we just talk about scrums and rucks and
what
shit.
we do.
Set piece. Let's get into the set piece. Should we call the
set piece podcast?
The set piece. It's a rugby podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyone think we should be called the set piece podcast out there? All right, I was about to go on another tangent, but you've already kind of kicked us off. So
I want to kind of let you guide us here.
See, this is a tough week.
There's URC, penultimate round. There's some Super Rugby. If we want to, there's a historic women's match where the Black Ferns play Canada.
Yes.
And
I think we should definitely touch on that.
There's an upcoming Champions Cup final to touch on as well.
Is that this weekend?
This coming weekend, yeah.
See, this is what happens sometimes. This is on my channel, and I've got an absolute shitter of a week. An absolute dud. This is called a no rugby news week, really.
Right.
There's some domestic stuff on. The competitions are heating up. There's no internationals. Nobody's retired. No massive scrum like law changes to irritate everybody. We've just got some
regular results.
Regular results to chat about this week. And then you'll have the freaking Champions
I'll have the
Cup.
final.
What else you got next week, you jammy bastard?
Yeah. But then there's a bunch of like Super Rugby finals and stuff coming up and URC finals, so there'll be some rugby.
There'll be rugby. And then the internationals will be upon us.
Exactly. Before you know it.
And it will be great. Well, where you want to start? The Urk or the Soups? The Soups or the Urks?
Why don't we go with the Urk?
All right. Okay, let's go the Urk. I watched Ulster, Leinster. Well, I watched part of it.
I watched Ulster, Leinster this morning as well. A lot of Leinster fans are not happy. Can I tell you why? Or do you know why?
Leinster look... that try where he put it down on, was it Sheehan's legs, and it looked like it was a bobble to me, and it didn't actually get put down. Was that the thing that they're irritated about? Because I would, and they were like,
they're more irritated by their coach.
Didn't look like a try to me. Why is that?
Because he fielded a kind of B team.
Yes,
with an eye on the Champions Cup final. And he's done that.
There's a park, no low, no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's done that for a couple of years now, and they haven't won the Champions Cup in the years that he's done it. So they're kind of, what's the definition of insanity? Like doing the same thing and not getting the results. So some people, I think, would make the argument, if you want to keep these guys match sharp, you got to play them. And in terms of the Urk, like Leinster are now like third on the table. They were like almost they'd only lost one game up until a few rounds ago, but now that he's been fielding the B team, they've lost a couple of games in South Africa. They've lost this game, so they're kind of dropping down the log, which in terms of playoff matches could mean an away match instead of a home match.
And it's one of those things where the other team are like, we're playing Leinster. This is one of the big teams.
And Ulster was in on 49 points with two or three other teams. So we have to win.
It's a must win. The fans seem to be desperately into it.
Fans were amazing.
Yeah. They were really into it. But I thought that it was sort of punch and counterpunch. A lot of penalties from Ulster, wasn't there? Essentially, and that last try that didn't look like
both
a try.
sides kind of conceded weird tries. Like there was an intercept that Ulster got.
Yeah,
there was a charge down that Leinster got. So both of them kind of conceded a few jammy ones.
Yeah, well, that's rugby. That's rugby. Yeah,
clutch kick at the end from John Cooney. Penalty, 40 odd meters.
Yeah, he's got to be happy about that, doesn't he?
I would say so.
Jeez Louise, it's real. I've got to be honest. I watched a 7-minute highlight package. It's quite hard to have like an in-depth conversation. That's why you come here to watch 2 cents get distracted.
URC highlights have been notoriously bad, but you were telling me you watched it on the broadcaster here in NZ.
One thing that irritates me about these highlights packages we watch, and probably just the overall coverage, is I don't want to watch a bunch of finely tuned athletes photos looking like absolute twats, like flexing at me like they're the bloody ultimate warrior.
So they're showing you the intro stuff where they're like, the front row today is this guy, and this guy, and they show their intro pieces.
Doing these poses and stuff. Can we just stop it? Do they have to? I know they're trying to make an entertaining product, but do they have to?
What would you have them do?
Stand there. Give me that. Okay. Or even you've seen the NFL guys where they go? They go, Clarence McConnor, Arkansas State. They stand up and they say who they are and whatnot, and they do that in Origin too. They stand up. They have footage of them saying their name,
right,
and where they're from, basically. Maybe that would be a little bit. It'd probably take a little while.
I suppose so.
But yeah, I don't know. All the posing and
that doesn't belong in a highlights package. That's for sure.
The pointing to the chest, the flicking. The stupid ones are they sometimes have a thing where they've got a guy spinning a ball on his finger, and he's got his finger and the ball right in front of the player behind him, they've got their photoshopped image behind him. Does it irritate anyone else? Do they have to look like twats?
Or is Tony just a grumpy old man?
What do you think?
I don't really care.
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't have a strong opinion about that one.
Does it add anything to the game for you?
Not really.
But it doesn't bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I'm irritated by a lot of small things, but that's not one of them.
This seems
that's more of a right up my alley.
It's really in your ballpark, that sort of
I would admit that doesn't belong in a highlights package.
Yeah, the 7-minute highlights package and you get 3 minutes of that shit.
Yeah. I was telling you just before we started that the URC highlights on YouTube are awful. They're only 3 minutes long.
I don't watch
Some people have said that it's only 3 minutes long because they're limited by what they can put free to air on the broadcast on YouTube. They have to kind of save the extended highlights for the broadcasters, like the official broadcasters who paid for that.
Yeah. Hey, can I do something that's maybe never been done on a podcast before?
Is it a fart related thing, or you're gonna fart and try and blame it on me because there's no stinky kid around?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna try and take my socks off.
Okay.
I'm wearing very fluffy socks.
Okay.
And I'm feeling they're too fluffy. So
it's a bit brisk.
Yeah, I know, but I feel
you can handle it. You can go barefoot.
I've got quite a heavy hat on and socks. I feel like I'm just sort of getting insulated by both ends.
Right.
I'm like a Chinese finger trap.
There you go. Need to let that heat out.
Yeah.
Did you watch any
You know what a Chinese finger trap is sexually?
I've never seen one in China.
Or is it a Japanese finger trap?
Let's go with Japanese.
I won't tell you on here. Actually, it's inappropriate.
So we watched Ulster Leinster. That's an interesting game in terms of the log.
What's up, Mark?
Did you watch any of the games? Did you watch Sharks against Cardiff?
No.
I believe the Sharks also rested. I didn't watch that game. They rested. They've got the Challenge Cup final coming, so they rested their team and got beaten at home.
Did Stormers versus Canuck?
Cardiff got a win. They don't get many wins. And down in South Africa, but against the Sharks beat team.
Cardiff's a great rugby town. Why do they have a shit team? Well, they won. So
Welsh rugby, not in a great place. You watched the Stormers go to Connacht and get a win, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't see that game. How was it?
It was.
Give me your hot takes. Give me some key events and some stats.
To and fro.
Oh, yeah.
Tight to the end.
Oh, yep.
It may or may not have been won with a kick.
Okay, you sound like a man who watched that game and remembers all the details. That's good. I'm enlightened for having heard your point of view.
There were some tries.
I don't need to watch the highlights now.
There were some tries that happened that were like close to the line, and they got over the line and put the ball down.
Any particular try scorer that stood out? Or?
Bundy Aki was playing.
Oh, okay. Did he get a try or no?
Mani Labok was playing.
He got man of the match.
Yes, I knew that. And
I saw that on social media somewhere.
Yeah, and looked like everyone was having a great time. But the fans were really into it.
Okay. That's a tough one for Connacht because they are one of those teams in that mid-table.
We never talk URC, and you're like throwing me straight into the
You said you watched it.
I watched a tiny little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's keep going.
In the context of the URC, that's a tough one because Connacht are on 45 points now.
Munster.
They really needed to win that because they're outside the 8 now. 4 points behind the playoffs.
Connacht really needed to win that.
They needed to win it, yeah.
Bugger. And Munster, they played
I watched Munster play Edinburgh. Did you watch that?
I saw the highlights.
Okay, there were a couple of really weird moments in that game.
I saw the highlights whilst being on my phone.
Okay, don't ask you any detailed questions. Okay.
No, ask me a detailed question. See if I got it.
Okay, so there's one moment where...
it was a heck of a moment, this.
The Edinburgh 10, who used to play for Munster... puts a clearing kick from his own in goal.
Oh, yeah.
Big South African bit of beef. Arceus Snyman comes in and fuckers clatters into him and flattens him on his ass.
Oh, my word.
Right? You could argue...
I feel like I'm there. This is great.
You could argue it was late.
I'd argue that.
But for mine, it's just on time. A second later and he's late. But
I like the way you think about it.
He just made it.
Yep.
But Ben Healy, the 10, didn't appreciate it. Yeah, he's got a 2 meter, 120 kilo bit of South African beef on him.
And by the way, we're just talking about his penis.
He didn't like it.
Just his penis. The rest of him's huge.
So he kind of gave him a bit of push and shove. But he's being flattened, so he's on the ground. So it's.
Yeah.
And then Arceus Snyman just didn't get off him, so he's just lying on top of him.
Oh yeah.
And then it kind of escalated from there with one of the Edinburgh guys coming in and trying to get him off him. And a bit of argy-bargy. And then...
Love a bit of biff.
For mine, this is guys, fucking cut it out. You know, you've hit him, and it's fair, and you've taken exception to it, guys. Let's just.
We don't need that in the game, you know.
And if you come running in next time, you're going to be fucking in trouble.
Captains, go talk to your players.
For me, that's what
it's been a good game so far. We don't need any of that nonsense.
But the ref didn't do that. He's like, right, forget about the 2 guys who initially were out of it. The guy who came in, he's like, you're getting penalised.
So the guy who was trying to get Snyman lying on top of his player.
He did come in. He flew him like a bullet. So he did come in at him.
Third man in always gets the shit.
Yeah. So the third man in gets the penalty, which means Munster got a penalty right on the Edinburgh goal line, at least to a try.
Yes.
It directly leads to points. And I was like, that's unnecessary.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that's not a way you want to be conceding points.
You know what happened in the Manly Broncos game over the weekend?
Given that it's rugby league, no, I do not know what happened in the Manly Broncos
End of the game, super tight game. One of the Broncos players gets tackled. Another man comes in to sort of finish off the tackle. Takes him slightly high, just gets him like sort of...
This is the bleeding from the eye guy?
He gets the side of his head and then he grabs his eye.
Right.
And you see on replay, and then he gets a penalty. And then you see on replay that it didn't go anywhere near his eye. He just milked it. Got a penalty and won the game. They won the game out of a bit of bullshit. So that's for
embellishment,
all those people.
Is what they call it in the NHL.
You can't have that shit.
You get penalised for that in the NHL.
And you could see it on the replay as well.
Yeah.
But the bunker was like, couldn't really do anything about it. Well, it was weird.
I kind of despise the embellishment.
Me too. We don't embellish anything.
Well, certain things.
You always get found out at any time. You can't go into a bar and go, ladies.
Exactly.
This thing is huge.
They know that Ferrari's rented. I don't own it. I just rented it.
You rent penises?
That's a Ferrari, the car that I'm driving.
Okay, sorry. I thought we were talking about penises.
You were talking about penises. There was another call in the Edinburgh Munster game which went the other
way. Rent a cock.
That's a good business idea. Let's get it going.
Exactly.
Where there was a Edinburgh...
Sorry, I'm just sort of stuck on like the advertising, what the tagline would be. Coming your way. Rent a cock.
There's an Edinburgh try. The TMO looks at
Okay,
it.
sorry. Yeah.
TMO looks at it all day long.
Yes.
And he finds this one frame where he's like, that's a clear ground link, but you can't see fucking nothing for bodies.
Okay.
You can only see bodies, and there's like that much ball. And he's like, that's a try.
Really?
And you know, the TMOs are usually like, unless I've got the smoking gun, I can't give shit.
That's right.
This TMO was like, motherfucker, I have X-ray vision. Look at that ball. That's clear as
Oh
daylight.
yeah, I did. I saw that on the highlights, and I was like, and I just assumed that I wasn't getting all the angles because it was.
No,
really,
that was the angle.
Oh shit!
So bizarre. So that game just had bizarre refereeing calls. I'm usually pretty blasé about the refereeing calls, but I was taken aback.
I'm still stuck on Rent-A-Cock.
Rent-A-Cock.
Coming your way. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is a great start to this podcast.
So that's the URC.
Yeah.
Ospreys beat the Dragons. The Lions had a key win over Glasgow.
Ospreys are the shining light of the Welsh rugby.
Yeah, they're still not going to make the 8 though, sadly.
Seriously?
Yeah.
God.
The Lions did their 8 chances a boost with a 44-21 win over Glasgow.
Nice, well done.
Because
Rihanna will be happy.
Yeah, that puts them just outside the playoffs with one match ago. They're in 9th. But they're on 49 points. Edinburgh on 49 points.
Bada boom.
And the Benetton are on 49 points.
Ooh.
That's 7th, 8th, and 9th. They're all on 49 points. So the last round is going to be tasty.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that? You like that crunch time
And that's
shit?
the top half, not the top
Yes.
2/3. Super
Yes.
Rugby,
Although this year it has been...
it has made for a good storyline.
But just because of the Crusaders.
Just because of Crusaders, yes.
Yes, because it's so glorious.
Yep.
So glorious! And there's still a chance that the Crusaders could still get through somehow, but hopefully not.
Yes, there is a chance.
Is there a chance that every team could still get through?
Waratahs are on 12. The Drew are on 21. So they could, if nobody else gets any more points, and they get 2 bonus point wins. So yes, I think mathematically the Tars are still alive.
Hold on, hope, Tars fans.
Yeah.
It's an indictment that the Tars are the bottom of the table, isn't it? You think about New South Wales, Sydney, that's meant to be...
They've lost like 10 props this season.
it's meant to be a bit of a hotbed
They've
of...
been getting in guys on loan.
I think there's a lot to get excited about for Australian rugby at the moment. I really do. But
Are we going Super Rugby already?
where'd you want to go?
Yeah, Super Rugby, I
Okay.
guess.
But I had a hot take just coming at me right
Aussie
now.
Rugby.
Aussie rugby. I think there's a lot to get excited about. There's a lot of good fans. I think Joe Schmidt, he's going to be he's a hell of a coach, and they could do good things. But the big area I would be concerned about right now, they got Taniela Tupou, who's a quality scrummager.
He's always out injured.
He's always out injured. But if you just looked at like Slipper over the weekend, one of the top line guys, he got absolutely mothered by the Crusaders.
Yep.
They don't seem to have an international quality front row. They just
Angus Bell's injured. Harry Johnson Holmes is injured. Yeah, a bunch of their guys are injured.
they've got no one who's who's not going to get dominated. That's what I worry
Alan
about.
Alatoa's pretty good.
But is he going to be able to, save?
He's not like top 5 in the world, but he's pretty good.
I just watch every Australian team I seem to watch. They get absolutely, if they play a New Zealand team, they get absolutely dominated in the front row. We just have been ripping teams apart. That's what kept the Crusaders in that game against the Brumbies. And the Brumbies front row was nothing to be sniffed at on paper.
No, that's right. Slipper and Alatoa were both
Yeah,
Wallabies.
but they were getting absolutely shat on, Cody Taylor, Newell.
Newell's a big... They're
Fletcher
talking
Newell
about how
is-
much he was like squatting.
He looks promising. We got some good props coming through in New Zealand at the moment, and was it Moody who was playing? No,
Yeah, Moody was named in that one. Yeah.
He was scrummaging bloody well. So I think we've got some good prop stocks in it. And you think about, we also always go on about the front row for South Africa all the time. They're propping. In that World Cup final, in a scrum that was down to seven, unless we put it, did we put
All
it?
Blacks did it right.
All Blacks did great. We did not get dominated at all at scrum time. Did we get some scrum penalties? Maybe.
Can't recall. I've kind of blocked that.
Yeah. What Rugby World Cup final?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they played the World Cup last year. They just decided to can it.
Yeah. So we'll just give it to Sia Khaleesi and move on.
Exactly right.
What a
Super
time.
Rugby.
Super Rugby.
Did you watch the Hurricanes?
I feel like your
play?
energy isn't really here today.
Did you watch Moana Pacifica? Woo! They lost, but they didn't get a hiding.
that was surprising because
Yeah.
I turned it on and I was like, why they're still in this?
Yeah, I was watching it with the old boy, and we were talking about like my nephew who's sick.
Yeah, you're talking about your nephew is sick. Garrett was watching it too. It was a real
Yeah, he was
family-
watching it. He's actually getting he's getting a bit loud.
watching
He
the
was
game.
watching the Blues, and when the Blues would get a try, he was like, yes!
That's what you want to see.
I was like, God damn, son.
yeah.
Getting into it.
Boom.
And then he had this weird line when we were watching the Black Ferns earlier. He was like, he asked my daughter, who do you want to win, Canada or New Zealand? And she's like, New Zealand. Yeah. And then she asked him, who do you want to win? And he's like, New Zealand, obviously. I'm like, bro, you just asked her the same question. Why are you giving her shit?
You can't, you know when you have kids, right?
Siblings just give each other so much shit.
But you can't act like one of the siblings.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't actually say that to my children.
You thought it.
I just said, Garrett, you know you asked her that same question, right?
Should we do a role play?
He didn't know.
So I need you to play 2 parts. Okay. I'll play Garrett.
The Rebels and the Chiefs.
People love the role play.
26.
Yeah, the Rebels and the Chiefs. Yeah,
That went down to a DMAC kick at the death.
Rebels really needed to get that win on the board, on the board, didn't they?
They've lost a few games in a row now. That potentially their
What was
last
the final
ever home
score,
game.
sorry?
23-26.
Wow.
DMAC gets a 79th minute winner.
Yeah, a bit heartbreaking. Does that keep, and that keeps
Do you reckon the Rebels will be in it next year if this consortium can make a deal, or do you think that we get the Hawaras back?
They've been one of those interesting stories this year in terms of, at the beginning of the year, we were definitely those people going, there's just not enough talent. It'd be great to get the cream rising to the top, get
four teams.
Get it more competitive and all that sort of thing. And I saw that guy, I forgot his name, Uggy. He made a really quite a compelling video about, why they needed to keep them on the board and why it was good for Australian rugby. Don't ask me to recite any of the points, but I remember thinking at the time,
So he was in favour of 5 teams.
Yeah.
Because I remember a year or two ago, I saw a video, I think it was linked to some of Ben Darwin's stats, because he's a big stats guy.
Yep.
And he talked about how like the peak Aussie teams in the old Super Rugby was when they had 3 teams, because the core of like the Wallabies had come from the Brumbies, and they had come from like one club in Australia. So they had like cohesion, because he's all about cohesion. They had cohesion from like that level to that level, then all the way to Wallabies level, and it like bred success. Like he's this guy who reckons, he's a former Wallaby, but he reckons you can look at a team's like cohesion level, how many matches have these guys played at any level together, and that'll directly relate to their success on the field.
It certainly can't hurt.
Yeah, so he reckons more teams coming together, less cohesion, that works worse. So he was more in favour of fewer teams.
I think when you look at like the great All Black teams, you can say that with like Conrad and Ma'a and
certain partnerships, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Having basically half the pack of the Crusaders for a good part of those years as well, with just a few freaks from the Blues and whatnot. There was, it's a hard argument to argue with, but like I'm not wildly familiar with the South African teams. They're not all from.
No, the South African guys are all from all over the shop.
Yeah, all over the world. As well. Playing.
England and France are the same. I mean, obviously France have got a lot of Toulouse guys there at the moment, but they've got heaps of clubs. Same with the English. They've got heaps of clubs. They make World Cup final, semi-final, last 2 tournaments.
And then you look in football and stuff like that. Those guys are from all over the world.
All over the shop as well.
It's not like they all come from one or 2 teams. It can't hurt having that cohesion. You definitely see it pay when you've got those. I mean, people understand each other's game really, really well and know where someone else is going to be and know that they can throw a pass and that player's going to be in that space.
But I mean, there's been arguments the other way as well. Like when the Crusaders have had dominant teams. I think, was it like Robbie Deans' Crusaders made most of John Mitchell's All Blacks or something? Yeah. And everyone was like, there's just too many Crusaders.
And then we call them the red and black All Blacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Caleb Clark, mate. No, I said Caleb Clark. Caleb Ralph.
Ralph.
And everyone was like...
Worst All Black ever. Basically.
He was, but he was like... He looked like Terry Wright, basically.
Yeah.
Not that Terry Wright was bad, but it was like Terry Wright playing in 2007.
Yeah.
Or 2003. Yeah. And he was just, it was interesting, wasn't it? Didn't they go through that year in 2002 unbeaten?
I don't remember.
I don't think they lost a game that year.
Okay.
Yeah. It sucked. I was in the UK living with a guy from Christchurch. He told me about it.
I bet he told you about it.
Did tell me about it. Richie McCaw was bursting onto the scene around then.
He's a good player.
He did all right, didn't he? 2 World Cups. Not bad.
Drua Reds, did you watch that one? That was an early game.
Yes.
From Fiji. Suliasi Vunivalu.
Oh, yeah.
Got a yellow card for a trip.
Double tripper.
Got a yellow card for a trip. There's not many tripping yellow cards in rugby at all. You might see 1 or 2 in a season.
And they were both trips.
He did 2 trips in one game.
At home. At home.
Back in his hometown. And he got red carded. Yeah. That's dumb.
Super dumb.
Super
dumb. Huge for the Drua to get that victory, though.
Oh, big time. They needed that to extend the lead, like where because they're still 8th, so they've lifted the bar for everyone else to try and
Which
get
is
over.
Good for all of us going, keep the
Crusaders out of the top 8. Yeah, exactly.
And then, so that was, it's still great to see those Fijian fans getting into it.
Oh, they love it.
Getting it. And it was tight for the majority of that game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the Reds, I think I enjoy watching the Reds.
Tries. They're a fun team to watch.
We haven't talked about him. What's his name? Is it Tim Ryan?
Tim Ryan came off the bench. Yeah.
They call him the junkyard dog. It's a guy like the Australian commentators. What's that guy's name?
Sean Maloney.
No, the other guy.
Greg Clark.
No, the other guy. I want to say the brown guy.
Sam Sykes or whatever.
No,
Sam Wykes.
No, the other one.
Oh,
the one who's quite good. It goes into
Morgan Turanui.
Yes.
There you go. So you said the one who was quite good. I knew who you meant.
Morgan Turanui is like, this week on Dog Watch.
Apart from Dog Watch, Morgan Turanui, I think, on balance of things, is probably one of the best commentators.
I've seen it.
He knows the laws. Like, so many of the guys don't know the laws. I'm guilty of not knowing the laws, but Morgan Turanui really genuinely knows the laws, and he'll be correcting the other guys like, they changed that, mate, last year.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't rub it in their faces either. He kind of just gently moves the conversation.
Absolutely.
He knows the laws, he knows the players, and when other teams come from like Europe and stuff, like he knows who they are. With like Joey Wheeler earlier in the year pissed me off because he had no idea about the Welsh guys.
Said, that'll be the first offload he's ever had.
Exactly.
Like, well, if you've ever seen him
play, you know it's all a part of his game. But Morgan Turanui genuinely knows his game.
We didn't do an ASMR for this week, but this is a sawmill.
Okay.
Indian Pale Ale.
Okay.
An IPA in some circles.
It smells fruity.
You smell fruity.
Not to that stinky kid.
Boy.
Sorry, mate. What are the games we're on? That. The Brumbies beat the Crusaders.
Yeehaw!
With a dodgy, happy, good decision at the end.
I think it's the decision. It was very unfortunate on Quinton Destrange.
Quinton Destrange?
Quinton Strange?
Yeah, Quinton Strange. Strange decision for him to slap the ball out.
No, but it was like, there's a guy running through who's trying to regain it, and you just like chuck a hand up there. It's like totally
instinct.
I love the way Ben O'Keefe like came up to him.
Can't do that in rugby union.
You can't do that in rugby union. He didn't say you can't do that in rugby. He said you can't do that.
Didn't say you can't do that.
Yeah, he said because you can do that in rugby league.
Yeah.
And Sonny Bill Williams got a yellow card for that many moons ago at the end of an England test or something like that. Just tapped it out. Like you see rugby league play because it's a big fifth tackle play. So, is
bat
to
the thing out,
chip it, ding it into the dead ball area and try and get a repeat set. The guys just tap it out. But yeah, he just went up there like it wasn't attempting to catch it, but he was just trying to prevent the other guy from scoring a try.
Yeah, that's right. I don't even know if he was likely to score a try.
That's the thing I thought was bullshit because, like, I think the Brumbies deserved to win it at the end there. It's definitely a penalty.
Yeah.
100% a penalty. Okay, cynical, give him a yellow card.
Yeah.
But there was like another player there.
Yeah, I would have thought penalty,
and it was
yellow card.
Super hard balls to regather that was moving at speed.
Exactly. I don't think he was guaranteed to score that.
And it was a penalty.
Or even likely to score it. Maybe.
As a Brumbies fan, I would have slightly been happier with that because it was dinkable.
Yeah.
Very calculable.
It doesn't really matter because, like you say, that field position, even if it's a penalty and yellow card, it's right in front of the sticks and he's kicking it.
It was super easy to kick off again.
Penalty try felt a bit tough.
It was super easy to dot over, and that would have seen out the time around in the game because the game had 12 seconds left or something like that.
Yeah, they still restarted after that.
And they restarted. So a restart happens, anything can happen. Like,
So
if I was a fan, I would be like, give us the penalty.
Give us the penalty around the clock.
It did. It stopped the. Did it stop the Chiefs? No, the Crusaders from getting a bonus point.
No, because I think 7 points. So they still go on.
So but hey, Still
Another
tough.
loss.
Still tough times for our Crusaders.
Yep.
Jeez Louise. Is it bad of us that we're taking so much joy in this?
I don't think so.
What do you think of this, by the way?
That's all right.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
A bit more hoppy than we're used to.
Yeah. I thought the Blues Highlanders was going to be close.
So did I.
Because we changed our team.
Should we stay on we're jumping too quickly. Okay. So Crusaders from here, who have they got? They've got the Blues, and then they got Moana Pacifica. Coming second to last, we talk way too much about them.
They got the Blues at home, and they got Moana Pacifica at home, and they need to win both.
So
they have to win both.
And they can still win both and still not get in?
It depends. If the other teams above them get enough points, then they
course.
can still not have enough. Yeah. They're on 15. If they beat us with a bonus point, they'll be on 20, which is still not... They're still behind the Drua, who are on 21.
So the Drua really just need to get one more win.
But the Drua are away to the Highlanders next, and they have not won a away game yet, so they're not going to win that one. They're going to go down to cold-ass Dunedin. They're not going to win that one.
Come on, the Drua! So if the Drua win against the Highlanders...
The Drua's final game is at home to the Rebels, so you would think probably the Drua would win one more.
I thought of a way to psych up the Crusaders for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
The rest of the competition, actually, is go over their record in finals. Mm-hmm. So the Crusaders have not lost a finals game in 7 years. Mm-hmm. We have won 28 of those bastards straight. Mm-hmm. Not lost a game.
That's insane.
Won them all.
How did you know it was 28? Did someone mention that?
No, I just did some maths.
Okay.
So, there's 4 finals games in each series, isn't there? Or is there 3? There's only 3. You got to win a quarter. You got to win it. So, 21.
And a final. Okay.
21. They've won 21 in a row.
Right.
So, and then you go, we've won. That's an amazing achievement.
That is.
That's an amazing achievement.
Some of those games away from home, Eden Park.
Yeah, exactly. We need to win, and then we've done that. But this year, our final series
starts now.
Starting 2 games earlier. And we keep that streak going. So it's a finals game this week against the Blues. We won 21 of these bastards. We know how to win these. You were there, Reese. You were there. Strange. Barrett, are you back yet? You were there.
Right.
And there's some of you guys, we were here for some of that, but we can do this. We've done it before. Play highlights of this shit all week. All the great tries, all the big moments, all that sort of stuff. Get them up for it. And go, these are our finals. But maybe, just maybe, they've already been doing that. And they've been losing over and over again. So maybe, do you think that would have any effect on them morally?
I mean,
I'm not known as a motivator.
They're in a pretty bad position.
They're playing the top team.
They're literally playing the top team. If it was anyone but the Crusaders, right? If we were playing the Highlanders and they were second to last or third to last, whatever they are,
Would not be worried about them.
Down in Dunedin, do you think we would be thinking, "Whoo, jeez, maybe"?
What have they done to us? And then they keep losing. We should
be writing them off.
And they're not quite. Yeah, but
anyway,
they're not. They're like I feel like they're like some sort of zombie, and they're not dead until they're dead.
That's right.
To have chopped their head off.
This is one of like a horror movie where unless you've seen them get the stake through the heart or head cut off,
if they bet us next weekend,
yes, they're still alive.
They're still alive, and they're like, boys, we just bet the top team.
Exactly.
And look, we win next week, we get to face them again.
Exactly.
We know that we can do it.
Exactly.
And then they're just...
all starts from there.
Choo.
Back on that train.
Yeah, but hopefully not. Just don't think they've quite got the cattle right now. They don't have the 10. They don't have the players. They don't have the form.
How about Lee Halfpenny, man? He comes down, he's thinking, I'll just do one more year. Maybe I'll go down to Christchurch and just win a Super Rugby title.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Be a nice way to cap off the career. Nope.
Plays 20 minutes. He played
maybe still. He's played one game.
Yeah, and he played pretty poorly.
Missed a sitter and looked a bit off the pace.
Yeah. Like just having it. Yeah. It was what it was.
The Blues beat the Highlanders.
Amazing.
Blues kind of B team, couple of debutants. And then the Highlanders, unchanged lineup, almost their full strength side.
Playing for their
lives. they're on a 3-match winning streak, and we flogged them.
Absolutely.
Close at half time.
Close at half time, but then just
Second half just unleashed.
Jeepers, Stan Verner's got these boys
He's got
going.
that bit humming, eh?
Yeah, it was
What
amazing.
they needed was just a crutch of the old bald man.
Yeah,
That's what they needed.
Exactly. Hoskins, the Tutu, not
Well,
there.
he wasn't even playing, yeah. Mark Talia was not playing.
Mark Talia wasn't there.
Peter Feta pulled out injured at the end.
Two Pipes wasn't playing. What's this? Patrick.
Rico wasn't playing.
Yeah.
A lot of
He was
guys
drinking
not
a
playing.
Coke at one stage. They cut on me drinking Coke. He was really sculling it down. I was like, he's on the sugar, champ.
Exactly.
But
Not good for your recovery.
the guys who came in.
Looked class.
Yeah, looked.
Did you see the post-match interview with
Not
Cade
what-
Banks, the debutante?
Tried to grab the mic. North Harbour boy. And what's her name?
Worky Swindell wasn't letting that
Yeah,
in
she was
go.
like, no.
So they just got this awkward moment where they're just kind of like
Holding
it like this.
And he's
I thought that was
like,
hilarious.
okay, this is my moment.
I had that. I think that's an instinctive thing where someone just like does this and you just like want to grab it.
Well,
Like,
someone's giving you.
someone's giving you something.
Yeah,
Once I was I did air cadets when I was a high school student.
Yeah.
And we went on a camp, and we caught a bus there and took a bus back. Like they rented a coach.
Yes.
But there wasn't enough spots, so someone had to go in the van with this really stern, like warrant officer guy. And I was the guy who had got to sit with him. And we just sat in silence the whole drive. It was like a couple of hours.
And everyone else having fun on the bus.
Everyone else having fun on the bus. And he was like, I'm going to get McDonald's. Do you want anything? Like, do you have money to buy anything? Like, I'm not buying shit, but like, do you? And I was like, no, it's fine. And then he goes to the drive-thru.
He didn't get you anything.
No, he didn't get me anything. He gets his own food,
Stingy bastard.
and he gives me his drink, and he's like, hold this for me. And I'm just like, thanks. Like, my brain just went to thanks. And he's like, it's not for you.
And you're like,
I'm like, actually, I know, but
and you're like, okay.
yeah. But I'm assuming that's kind of the same thing as Cade Banks. It's just like someone.
Yeah. Someone's giving you something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he'll play a lot.
No,
more.
but he looked sharp.
And he got a try.
Yeah,
North Harbour boy.
Yeah.
Who else was? I think Knock is playing really well at the moment.
Mm-hmm. He actually got a start.
No knocks on Knock. Mm-hmm. The other Kiryuani looked pretty good out there.
Yeah, he did actually.
He's looking all right.
Funaki comes off the bench and he has a bit of a stormer. So yeah, Blues are looking good.
Forbes,
it's a weird position to be in.
Yeah, Forbes.
At the fullback, yeah, he's looking good too.
Look
He blew one try potentially, but didn't really matter.
Plummer just doesn't know how to miss a kick at the moment.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable what's going on. It's like we're in a parallel universe. Crusaders are crap and Harry Plummer's kicking everything. What's going on?
It's gay. You're going to say something that I don't think anyone has ever said before. Okay? Could Harry Plummer
Make the All Blacks, don't say it.
make the All Blacks?
Goodness me.
He's playing like this, and he has a stormer of a final series.
Maybe.
What do you think? Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened.
He's playing clutch. He looks like he's a guy who's like really understands his game.
Yeah. They could call him into the squad. I can't see him getting capped just yet. There's been plenty of guys who've had like one really good season and not gone into the All Blacks.
But he's
Remember Ben Lamb for the Hurricanes one year?
Yeah,
Like
went
he was
nuts.
just insane and he never got called up.
I was worried about Shooter. I thought this could be Shooter's year, but he's a bit weak on D.
Falling off the pace a bit, eh? Maybe
Yeah.
compared to his breakout year last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of injury problems.
That's
as
right,
well.
that's true.
But no, they're playing. Their forward pack is just
Playing some
so
good
dominant. They're driving maul.
We did
They
get
were
pinged
just-
at scrum time at least once or twice, which was a little bit concerning because
Yeah.
that happened against the Canes
There
as
was
well. But
Angus Tarval got pinged a couple of times. He
Yeah.
was up against
it's a group.
the Groot. The Groot looks good. Tamati Williams looks good. Bauer looks good.
The propping stocks are all right.
Angus Tarval. No, Angus.
Tuangafasi?
Tuangafasi. He looks good. Propping stock's looking. Cody
Not too
Taylor
bad.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're looking all right.
not too bad.
Hopefully with the props, which is weird. It's weird.
Force Waratahs, 27-7. Speaking of props, the Waratahs have lost like 10 props this year.
I was just going to force games expecting to watch them lose, and when they
They won.
they play all right. I'm
They
like,
should have got a bonus point. They didn't, which may cost them because they're on 19 points. The Drew are on 21, so they could have been 1 point behind.
they got a better chance of making the 8. Who have they got next week?
They're away to the Reds, and the Force are also kind of like the Drew. They don't travel well. Perth's a bit of a fortress.
It is.
They've beaten the Crusaders there. They've beaten they beat the Reds there, and they beat the Waratahs there. They're doing all right at home.
Well, that's good. Good for them.
Good for the Force. I'd love to see them make the 8.
Yeah, so would I. I'd like to see the Force make the 8. I'd like to see the Drua make the 8. And I'd like to see the Rebels make the 8.
So who do you drop out from the current 8? That means the Highlanders would have to not make the 8.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not averse to it, but they've made the 8.
Plenty of times.
They've had a lot of RC8s.
Right.
I mean, we had to beat them when we were number 1 a couple of years ago, didn't we? And
Yep.
I was like,
We beat them.
And I was like, this sucks. You shouldn't be there.
That's right. We shouldn't be playing you. It's a waste of time.
Yeah,
I think in that series, the only good game was actually the Reds, I think, gave the Chiefs a bit of a scare. And I think that was first against 8th.
Yeah.
Every other game was just bullshit.
Yeah. Well, so who are we likely? We could
At the moment, we'd be playing the Drua.
Drua at Eden Park.
Yeah, Hurricanes would be playing Highlanders, Brumbies would be playing Rebels, and Chiefs would be playing Reds.
Give us a wet night at Eden Park. We're winning that game, aren't we? Hurricanes playing the
They would play the Highlanders.
Hurricanes. Take that.
Brumbies would play the Rebels, which they would win. And the Chiefs would play the Reds, which would maybe be a little bit tasty. Because the Reds seem to be a bit of a bogey team for the Chiefs. But
Yeah, I reckon that's a good game. I really would like to see at least one Australian team in the semis.
Brumbies, your best shot at the minute.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are good form. Like Tom Wright looked class.
Brumbies-
Lola Seal was pulling the strings, man. I mean, goal kicking was shite, but
Yeah,
he was
Brumbies
setting up
are-
some good runs. Valentini looked good.
Who's your number 10 right now for the Wallabies?
I reckon Lola Seal.
Yeah.
But he's had a few chances at international level and
Ben
never
Dawson
really.
or anything like that?
But he's in good form too.
Yeah, he looks alright.
Yeah.
I like him, to be honest. I think Lola Sia I think maybe play him a bit like a Marcus Smith off the bench with a bit of impact and play a guy who's maybe just got a little bit more experience and just a little bit more of a calmer head, in those games.
Even the Reds guys are looking all right. Crichton was
Joe
looking
Schmidt
all right.
has enough talent to play with.
He does.
Yeah, they should
He's a
be.
smart guy.
Yeah. Are they getting, what's his name? He's a giant back for the Rugby Championship.
Will Skelton.
Yeah.
Don't know what he'll do with the overseas players. Will he stick local?
What will he do? Hey, can you put your head a little bit lower in there and pretend like you're laughing? Because last week we cut off a little bit of your head in the. It's like.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's for your thumbnail, Tony.
Get it lower. Do you know
Get it
that?
lower.
You,
Look at that. Thumbs up.
you never do that.
It's so unnatural. Oh, goodness me. The Black Ferns.
Were you like Fonzie?
Hey.
Okay.
The Black Ferns lost for the first time ever to Canada.
And are now ranked number 3
Three
in the world.
Unbelievable.
I'm happy and sad. A little bit disappointed as a New Zealander. I'm like, not good to lose.
But good for the game.
Good for the game and good for the fact that, we sometimes think about the women's game and we go, we don't have the Six Nations or anything like that for women to play. And the Australians just aren't quite up to it yet.
Yeah, they've never beaten us.
But it's good to have a top-notch competition with some top-notch competitors.
Yep.
Because Canada are one of the best female teams in the world. One of the best. Actually, they're one of the best teams in the world. Super woke. They're an outstanding team, and it's so weird. How the hell are the Canadian women's team one of the best teams in the world, whereas their men's team are just?
I think I have an answer for you.
They're a team that needs rent-a-cock.
I think I have a non-rental cock answer for you.
Is it that guy? Who's the Welsh manager of Joan Longo? What's his name?
Yeah, his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
his
awful.
name?
Kingsley Jones.
Why is he still?
Because he's cheap. He's like a rental cock. He's the
What?
worst coach, and they just keeping him on. He must got pictures of somebody, surely. He's got the worst record. They play the worst rugby. But I think in a nutshell, it comes down to professionalism. The Canadian men's team prior to professionalism was all right.
Yeah.
They've made at least one quarterfinal, I think, at a World Cup. They played us back in the 90s.
So their best place finish is the same as Ireland's best place finish.
Pretty much. Yep. But when professionalism hit, that didn't, the Canadian game was totally amateur. So
Then they didn't have the
they didn't have the resources to keep
structure.
up with everyone else.
Yeah.
And that is a risk which could happen with their women's team as well. Because England's fully professional. France is fully professional, and at least some of the players in like New Zealand and Ireland and Wales and stuff have at least got some kind of semi-professional or professional setups where they can at least either part-time work or fully focus on rugby.
Yeah.
And the difference between that, like someone who's a full-time rugby player is going to be a shitload better than someone who's a school teacher and, plays a bit of rugby on weekends and goes to training once a week. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that could happen with the Canadian
So they must have had a
because,
relatively strong competition in Canada domestically pre-professionalism, but they didn't have the structure or infrastructure to be able to create
keep up once things
created
went
a professional league.
I mean, rugby's had a lot of kind of hiccup moments from the transition from amateur to professional, but yeah, Canada did not seem to keep up in the men's game anyway. They suck. So yeah, Canada, what they do with the women is going to be a really interesting one because, like I said, England, I think, are far streets above everyone else.
Yeah, and it's almost a shame. Well, I'm glad we won the World Cup final, but they...
Might be the last one we win for a while, man. The English girls are bloody good.
Well, they were spanking us before that. The year before, they absolutely tore us to pieces.
That one game was at home, and they had a red card.
They had a red card.
Early red card.
And we all know a red card in World Cup final...
makes a difference.
Can't come back from that. But, they still lost by 1 point.
Yeah, exactly. They had a chance to win at the death with a maul, but they lost the line.
We didn't have a chance to win it. We had multiple kicks to win it.
The
amount of times we should have a swear jar for it.
Every time we reference the World Cup.
And then we just say something a little bit bitter and sour.
But no, congratulations to Canada. That's big, and they won that competition. What's it called? Pacific Fours or something?
The Fours.
Yeah.
Or the Four Nations.
Which is, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and USA.
Something four.
Yeah, they won it. That was good.
And the Aussies...
And there was a couple of disallowed tries in that game. The Blackburns at one point went through 36 phases.
That's insane.
And the Canadians held us out. Well, we scored, I think, from the next.
It's entertaining rugby to watch, though, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And
the
amount of quick tap penalties. It's really good to see.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah. It was.
If you haven't seen it, you should check it out.
The Australian woman lost to the American
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but I didn't see it either, but I heard that.
Okay, the Australian women are not very good, but they're also not professional. So
yes. Unlike, New Zealand has a professional competition now. The
semi-professional. I think the Black Ferns, some of them are on professional contracts, but the Alpiki players are just like
they'll be hurting about that, won't they? That game.
Big time.
Yeah.
We had a couple of yellow cards, which didn't help though.
Did they have any?
Yeah, they had one.
You can.
Their halfback got yellow carded.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a Sam Warburton tip tackle.
Yeah, the tip tackle, not good.
That we went for an off-field review.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's it. Champions Cup finals coming.
Ba-boom.
Leinster up against Toulouse in
Come
London on at 1:45 in the morning. Not looking forward to getting up. What do you reckon? Do I go to sleep and get up for it, or do I just stay up for it and then go to bed after?
What are you doing on that Saturday before?
There might be Super Rugby on until 11.
Are you able to take an extra long nap at some stage that day?
No, because I've got to take my daughter out to a farm.
Yeah. Okay. What time? So it starts at 1:45. So we'll
be finished by 3:45.
4 a.m.
Yep.
No man's land. Rough. And then it could be a really exciting. And you've got to record one of your videos.
Match review.
So you'll do a match. That'll be.
I think I'll go to bed early and I'll get up for it.
Okay, that's your plan.
I think so.
And then so you'll get a power nap in, and then try
2 power naps basically. I'll power nap on each side of the game,
and then try and get your review done, get it up, and go to bed by 5.
Yeah,
and maybe get another 3 or 4 hours in.
Yeah,
so
getting too old for this shit, man.
And then so you'll be there. You might get 4.5, 5 hours of sleep.
It's gonna be brutal. It's like
none of it will be REM.
No.
It will be shite.
It's going to be like taking a flight, basically.
Yes.
It's like an international flight.
And you got to be a good dad the next day.
Exactly.
You don't have to be a good dad.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. You have to be.
Try not to be grumpy.
Try not to be a prick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for you.
It is. I'm naturally a bit prickly.
Well, yeah. But, it's part of your charm.
But it's a big game.
Yes. It is a huge game.
Leinster have been trying to get this next star on their jersey for they've been like one of the favourites for 3 or 4 years running, and they've just never got it done.
I just don't
La Rochelle, Toulouse, Exeter have all won it, like in Saracens in the meantime, and Leinster have just been one of the favourites every single year. It's never got it done.
I can see them losing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just think when you overinvest in something and want it too much, just sometimes fate has a way of not letting you have it. But, I'm not saying I want them to lose.
Have they been not paying enough attention to the URC, which they were dominating right until they made this kind of Champions Cup finals run?
You got to take momentum in any form you possibly can into a game, and they don't seem to have a huge amount of that right now.
Chopping and changing.
Yeah, chopping and changing. Cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
We are the 2 Cents Gets Cohesive podcast.
There you go.
A cohesion podcast. But yeah, and then I can also see them winning it. But it should be a good game.
Should be a cracker.
Yeah.
You'll watch it delayed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay off socials.
Yeah, I'll do my best to. It's not too bad in New Zealand because you can kind of... I could go on Facebook and not
get spoiled.
Not get spoiled. Not that I want to go on Facebook.
My Facebook fucking feed is just all bullshit.
It's total shit.
What happened to that?
It's just absolute crap.
It just comes out with like stupid clickbait posts.
Yeah, and it's all just absolute shit.
Nonsense. It's got nothing to do with anything that I follow.
Yeah, and it was all like stuff when we were around at the beginning of it. It was all your friends and all their shit.
Those used to be your friends' post. This prick's fucking putting photos of his dinner up.
Yeah.
Snooze for 30 days. Don't care.
No, but I don't.
The worst ones were when people would have babies. Oh my God, they would put up photos every day of their baby. No. I know you like your baby, but nobody else likes your baby as much as you like your baby.
Your baby sucks.
Yeah, I didn't put baby photos up to Facebook.
Yeah, I think I did a couple.
Yeah, a couple's fine.
Yeah. Announced the birth.
I put one to announce the birth.
I haven't posted a Facebook photo of myself for a long time.
You've aged terribly.
Yes, I know. I'm 21 there. I don't have the app, the Facebook app on my phone.
I do.
Delete it.
Yeah, it's all nonsense.
Why do you need it? It's absolute shit. You don't need that crap on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has to be going to go. But that being said, the Super Rugby teams, because I have to use their images for my Wednesday video with the team announcements for New Zealand Rugby, a lot of them don't update Twitter. They all update Instagram, but Instagram's a pain in the ass to get the images from. You have to kind of snip it instead of just downloading it.
Yeah, right.
They all do Facebook. Facebook's got the numbers, I guess.
Yeah, it's still got the baby boomers. The baby boomers are
big on the Facebook.
Big on the book of faces. They really are. This is 2 Cents Gets Social Media'd, a social media podcast.
By the way, I've still got some Chinese snacks to bring.
Oh, I thought we were doing that tonight.
No, I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but I thought, I can't be bothered.
Can't be asked. All right, yes, I can't wait to do that. That should be fine. I'm
going to bring a bunch of Chinese
fun
snacks.
is what I was looking for.
And we're going to eat them.
And it's going to be for the channel 2 Cents on Tour. People were requesting after there
was the Tony edit. They want the Tony edit.
There's a lot of people wanting the Tony edit.
Okay, maybe I'll send you some footage.
The distracted edit. It's going to be weird. It's got to get...
I have to put a disclaimer at the front.
Yeah. You're going to have to. Can I make the thumbnail too?
You can do everything. You can do my next one.
Can it be short? I want it to be short.
Yeah. I've got one that's not got a heck of a lot of stuff in it.
So, okay.
I'll give you the one me crossing the bridge, because not a lot happens in that one. I walk across a bridge.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna make it 2 Cents meets the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You know how they're gonna get from...
Oh, God.
It's gonna be a lot of Frodo and Sam in it, walking with you. It's gonna be great. The Fellowship of the Crossing.
This has been a podcast.
Believe it or not, I'm sorry not a lot of hot takes, not a lot of happenings really this week in the world of rugby.
A lot of games.
And they all kind of blurred together. I had a couple of
I
drank some wine and I watched it and I was like, I've got to watch this stuff. And then I
had lunch with my dad today. I remember he asked me one of the games that I watched that he didn't watch. And he was like, who scored the try in that game? And I was like, I watched it.
There was a bloke.
Can't remember.
It's that guy who used to be on that other team.
Yeah.
I think he used to play for counties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's some great quality shit you're listening to. And you've been listening to that for, I don't know, maybe we've gone about 50 minutes.
Apple Podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
Spotify.
iTunes. Oh, Apple Podcasts.
You just fucked that one up. Google Podcasts, but not for much longer. It's going away.
Yeah, it's gone pretty much. And Spotify.
I already said Spotify.
No, you didn't.
I literally just did. Hey, future Tony, who's watching this footage back, now you feel like an idiot, don't you? Because I already said Spotify.
But you look good.
You're a champ.
What a
You smell good. Well, maybe not.
I took my socks off.
You don't smell good.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Socks. What do you think of my feet?
Don't let me hang in.
For some reason it hurt my hand. I've been playing too much golf.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's quite
I'm going to
stinky.
give you some editing today.
Yes.
Take
Thanks
care,
for
folks. Smile for the thumbnail.